Hello, nonprofit rock stars and heroes. This is Tom Check with Greater Impact Consulting, and today we are talking about how to save your users time when they need to update multiple records at once. Today specifically we're talking about how to use mass inline editing from list views. This is a way where when you need to update the same field to the same information on multiple records, it's an easy, fast way to do that. You can do it for up to 200 records at a time. So if you need to update thousands of records, this is probably not the best way to do it, but it is still far faster than going into each record and editing them individually. So let's log into Salesforce real quick and take a peek at what we're working with. So here's a list view of contacts for this demo. And if I go over to this title field, you'll see that when I put my mouse over it, I've got this pencil icon. And that pencil icon tells me that I can edit that field inline right here on this screen. So I don't have to open the record and type it in, save it, and then come back to this screen. I can just go in, type in that this person is the CTO for this company, hit save, bada bing, bada boom, that's going to be saved. So even this is far faster than going through individual contacts, opening up the record, changing the field, and then saving the record. Of course, you can edit which fields you're seeing on here, and therefore which fields you can mass inline edit by selecting the fields to display. You will notice that some fields you cannot edit from a mass filter, like this one. Your email is not editable. Your account is, but your contact owner alias isn't. Those are by default some of the fields that Salesforce says you can and can't edit for this object, and they'll differ a little bit by object. But if you see a pencil, you're good to go. If you don't see a pencil or a lock, we're going to need to update your permissions, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But maybe more importantly than updating a single record, what we're talking about today is how do I update a bunch of records? And I do that by selecting multiple records, checkboxes on the left-hand side here. And then if I go in and click the pencil icon on any of them, I can say that this person is the CEO, and I can check this box here that says update 5 selected items. When I do that, it'll copy what I typed, CEO, into all of those boxes. Now I've got 5 people that are updated, and all I had to do is type in 3 letters and hit go. To finalize these changes, all I have to do is hit save, and then we'll see that those are finalized. So you can use this for up to 200 contacts. So if I were to scroll down, normally my page list view only shows 50 records at a time, so you have to scroll down quite a bit to get it to show up to 200. And then I can select all, and it'll select the first 200 records that are in here. Then I can go ahead and edit, and let's say I wanted to update this to CFO. I can check the box to update all 200 of those, hit apply, and it'll update every one of those fields on every one of those records with this change. Now you just saved your users a ton of time, because when they have to log in, when they have to open up each record in order to change the same field over and over and over again, it takes a long time. And in this way, you can update similar fields very, very quickly. Let's say I don't want to edit all 200 of these. Let's say I want to do, these are all the CFOs, and let's say these few are the ones that are, say, my CTOs, right? I can go in and I can update, I can go in and I can update just these 6 to CTO. Select update 6. Now, out of all 200, these 6 say CTO. Now, of course, this is going to, the order that these show up in is just determined by your list view. Right now, these are organized by name. I could also organize them by title so that all the blank ones show up at the top so that I can go through and edit 200 of these at a time. I can pretty quickly get through a couple hundred of these records. Now, again, until I hit save, none of this stuff has taken effect. But once I do hit save, it goes from yellow to white, which tells me that those record updates have happened. So this is the fastest, easiest way to update single or even a couple of different fields really quickly for up to 200 records at a time. If you're updating thousands of records, it's still probably going to be faster to export this into, say, a Excel file, edit it in Excel, re-import it back through Data Loader or the Data Import Wizard in Salesforce. And we can see that somebody typed in some incorrect information on this specific field. So it tells us that, and then it doesn't make that change here, but it did save all the others. So it does give you that information, which is nice. So how do we make sure that this is active for our users? Right? If they don't see the pencil or if they don't see the lock icon, it's really important that we go in and we give them permission to do so. To do that, we're going to open up Setup. And you can do this either on their profile or in a permission set. It's going to look really similar, especially if you're using enhanced profile views or enhanced the enhanced profile user view rather. And what we need to do is we need to go in here, we need to look for mass. When we do this, what we should see is we've got a permission here for mass edit from lists. Now this will look the same on profile as it does in a permission set. You can choose which way you want to do it, whether you want to do it for everybody who has a profile or if you just want to activate this permission set for a specific set of users that you want to have this functionality. That just depends on your personal preferences. But once we check this box, then the users who have this permission set or this profile will be able to use this function. Now there's a couple other things to know as you use it. The most important thing is, in order for it to work, this list view can only show a single record type. If your Salesforce org doesn't use record types, you don't have to worry about this. But if your object that you're working on does use different record types, like in this one we use youth, adult, or default, you will need to specify in the filters section over here which record type you want this list view to be on. You can only include one record type to be able to enable mass edits. If I were to go in and say I want to include two different record types, we'll see that pretty quickly my ability to mass edit disappears once I hit save. So now when we've got two record types listed in here, if I go in and I put my mouse over this title field, you'll notice that pencil is gone. So is the lock icon. So that tells us either that we don't have permissions or that there's too many record types included in here. If I were to go in and I would say, you know, I don't want adult, I only want youth, which are the record types that I set up in this demonstration org. Now that I'm down to one record type, I can go ahead and find that pencil icon. So that's how we use mass editing inline from a list view in your organization. Now, there's obviously going to be caveats because it's Salesforce. And so what I'm going to do is below this video in the blog post, you'll see a couple of helpful links to some of the help documents at Salesforce that help you determine if this is the right fit for you and how to make sure that it's working. So that's all I've got for you today. I hope it's helpful, especially as you get all of those fields updated in your org on a regular basis. And if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment or reach out via email to me at tom@greaterimpact.co. Until next time, stay awesome and keep up the great work.